Okay, this is a Brussels sprout, and today is November 21st, Monday, 2011, and this is the first part of our series we're going to do about eating vegetables. We're going to call it Eat Your Vegetables. So today we've got Brussels sprouts, because Brussels sprouts are gross. I've always hated Brussels sprouts. All I remember is mushy slobs of nastiness, and I hated them with a passion. So I stopped eating them. But then I got married, and Marie was like, "Oh, we can eat Brussels sprouts." And I was like, but then she made them, and they're good. They actually are good. And we're going to show you how. Alright, inside of a Brussels sprout is lots of leaves. It's like a cabbage. Lots of leaves. I mean, it actually is a cabbage. A kind of cabbage. It's the cabbage family. And it's just layers and layers of leaves. And they're not very good raw, and they're not very good overcooked. So the key is cooking them right. So the real question is, how do you cook them right and make them taste good and not make them taste nasty? First thing is, you're going to chop them to a reasonable size. I always remember having whole Brussels sprouts. They were usually smaller than this too, but they were still whole. And they just, I don't know, they just were like little balls of mush, and they tasted like sulfur, or smelled like sulfur at least. Tasted like grossness in a bundle. So I'm just going to chop all these up. You want to chop them because that opens up the leaves, releases some of the vitamins, and also opens it up to faster cooking. And then after that, we're going to chop all these up. We're going to steam them, which is the preferred method for Brussels sprouts. It cooks them well, and actually for a couple of reasons. Boiling, a lot of times it's easy to overcook them, and also with boiling is the vitamins will leach out into the water that you boil it with, and then you're flushing them down the drain when you dump out the boiling water. With steaming, it keeps all the vitamins intact inside the sprout, and it's healthier for you. Speaking of vitamins, I found out that Brussels sprouts are really, really high in vitamin K and vitamin C. Vitamin C obviously prevents scurvy, the major problem among pirates. And vitamin K, I'm not really sure what vitamin K is. So far in my preliminary research, it's supposed to prevent some types of bleeding, but I'm going to have to research that more because I don't usually bleed that much. So I think vitamin K may not be necessary for me. It probably is, so I want to find out. But anyways, chopping these up. It's best to chop with a cleaver, because cleavers are awesome, because you can just hack. Crank up the heat. Crank up the heat. Alright. Steaming vegetables. I'm not even going to explain how to steam vegetables because you can figure that out on your own. Bam! 5 minutes, then come back. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Alright, see how the color's actually green and not yellow? Green is a good color. Yellow means you did something wrong. That is, you overcooked them, and they're going to be nasty no matter what you do. So, next step. Now they're still just kind of half-cooked, nasty little green things. But we're going to transform them into deliciousness. So olive oil. And salt. There's one thing I learned from Alton Brown, it's kosher salt is awesome. About that much. It's like 2 pinches. Doesn't really matter. If you like more salt, you can add more. Ah! Oil in the eye, don't do that. Ah! Okay, that's what I get for trying to be fancy. And then pepper. This is Telecherry black pepper from Penzies. There is a difference. This is awesome. I mean, if you're just using like pre-ground pepper from in a little box, then throw it away right now and get some fresh peppercorns. If you're already using peppercorns, I'd recommend switching to this because you can really taste the difference. Some may call that burnt, and that's just nice and brown. I might turn the heat down a bit though. So just try it out. This finishes the cooking process and makes them delicious. Okay, the other thing you can do is walnuts. I think it's pretty good. Adds a little crunch to it. They're not going to be soggy, but they're not going to be crunchy either. So you want maybe a little crunch. How many? I don't know. How much do you like walnuts? You can chop them up if you want. I kind of like to get a whole crunch in there. Well, this is almost done. From beginning to end. Obviously you gotta chop it and wash it. That's like 5 minutes. Steam it for 5 minutes and maybe cook it for 5 minutes. 15 minutes. Less if you actually know what you're doing and can streamline the process. So yeah, so they're almost done here. And look, see, even after cooking, they're still green. I'm gonna taste one. Still pretty hot. 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 Just about right, maybe like another minute. And the good thing about these is you can taste the individual leaves. It's not just like you bite into it, it's mushed. You can taste kind of the leaves kind of spread apart in your mouth. There's a little bit of oil in between each leaf, a little bit of salt. I don't think it needs any more salt. Probably a little more pepper, because I can't taste any pepper. Marie and I are kind of heavy on the pepper usually, so this is probably plenty for most people. But I'm going to keep going. Yeah. Loading on the pepper like it's 1620.
Why 1620?
Oh, because that was when pepper was big. It was coming from the Spice Islands. So all the European nobles, to show their status, they just load pepper on all their food. Because that was around the time where pepper was about the same. It was so expensive, it was worth its weight literally in gold for a time. Alright, I'm done. Ready to serve. Look at that. So nice and green, it's not yellow. There's a couple that are a little bit brown, crispy. Some people may like that. I really have nothing more to say. This looks good. I'm going to eat some.